A chirping bird perched in the calm heavenly blue of Montego Bay is nature's alarm to herald the dawn of a new day in the land tourists the world over call paradise. The city is already buzzing with activities. A boat rides the waves, vendors pedal. From relaxation to hustling, the choices to spend the day vary. Some choose to be scammers and they are engaged in a criminal enterprise with chilling repercussions called the lottery scam. So how did it all start?
Sometime in about the late 1980s, early 90s, the telemarketing industry in Jamaica got off.
Now this is the Montego Freeport complex and it is a home of many data entry companies. Now within these data entry companies, the lists are generated of many persons in the United States. And on these lists are names, and these names got into the wrong hands, and from this, the lottery scam started.
These persons got access to the personal information of clients both locally and overseas. These information could include credit card payments, their address, their telephone number.
What makes the hunt for prey so efficient? Superintendent Fitz Bailey of the Kingston-based Organized Crime Investigation Division, OCID, explains.
I sometimes question it, but when you consider the dynamic nature of shopping, people going to different institutions and during their purchases, they would normally fill out all types of documents for various prices, competition that is offered by these companies. So it is possible that people can be caught.
And the scammers have perfected their deceptive craft.
They would give them different stories, including one in which for you to claim the winning price, you have to pay some processing fees. And once that process starts, then they continue to add additional demand on the victim.
The crime is transnational in nature, hence the need for collaboration with American law enforcement officers through JOLT, Jamaican operations linked to telemarketing. Given Jamaica's resource constraints, JOLT is critical to the tracking of the ill-gotten gains. It was launched in May last year, and Superintendent Bailey disclosed that to date there have been over 80 arrests, while over $383,000 has been seized. However, that pales in comparison to the millions siphoned through the scam.
In Minnesota alone, it is estimated that last year, and this is very conservative, over $30 million came from that state alone to Jamaica. Now, if you were to multiply that by the amount of state in the United States of America, you could see the significant amount of money.
Since the advent of the lottery scam, there has been an increase in robberies, shootings, and homicides, all spin-offs of the lottery scam. Of the 239 homicides we got last year, 175 is directly or indirectly linked to the lottery scam.
Those murders have been linked to gang activities, and it's the proceeds from the scam that allow the thugs to rule with lethal force.
They also purchase a lot of firearms, a lot of ammunition. Reason being, these guns are used to protect them from each other because you have scammers and you have scammers. The scammers are aligned to gangs. The gangs offer the scammers protection.
One such prominent gang is the Stone Crusher Gang, and its reign of terror is infamous. The Stone Crusher Gang and the lottery scam are connected by an intricate web of violence and mayhem. The police disclosed that other gangs which have been enriched by the lottery scam and are plaguing communities include the Piranha Gang, the Rat Bat Gang, the One Order Gang, and many gangs of the One Order Gang. From Bottom Pen, Glendevon to Flanker and Canterbury, these gangs are said to be merciless in their onslaught. Another community which is reeling from the effects of the scam was highlighted.
The community of Granville, for example, which is one of the first communities to take up the lottery scam, it is highly polarized. A lot of persons live in fear, a lot of loose spending, family life is affected, school is affected. Everybody seems to be a bit tense.
I ventured to the community. At one point, our crew was assailed with a barrage of expletives. Nevertheless, we soldiered on. It is said that many lottery scammers live right here in this community. Many persons are, however, not talking because of fear. According to one individual who spoke to me off camera, he said the lottery scam has done both good and bad for the community. Good in terms of economic livelihood, but bad in terms of social problems. The residents in these communities, what is their reaction to the lottery scam?
It is just fear and more fear.
As a result, very few dare come forward with information, and there's a conspiracy of silence hovering over the loud barking of guns. Here's an interesting twist. Scammers operating within gangs also have something to fear: violence from within, resulting from grave mistrust. Superintendent Robinson has seen gang members turn on each other when betrayal is suspected. Big bucks are involved in the lottery scam Bloodsport. An investigation by OCID signaled just how much is involved.
There was one particular individual that we have actually linked who was involved in the lottery scam, and we have actually linked over 800 million Jamaican dollars to that one individual, proceed that he got from the lottery scam.
Now, using cash, the gang lords are expanding their reach, targeting youth, and many succumb as there's a lack of social support systems.
Montego Bay over the years has deteriorated in many ways. There was a time when we had many organizations that would have been there: the Boy Scouts, the Girl Guides.
Lord B. Smith is the editor of the Montego Bay-based Western Mirror newspaper. He interacts with youths on many fronts, including in his capacity as a guest lecturer in media studies at the UWI's Western campus. For him, the youths are vulnerable because
a lot of the mentors and would-be mentors and persons who would be willing to go out there and sort of mentor the youths and guide them, they have taken a back seat. And so what has replaced these mentors are the dons, the gang leaders.
The financial spin-offs from the scam are a powerful lure to life in the fast lane. It's a lavish frolic of bling, and those with excess are placed on pedestals.
In Montego Bay, I don't know if you're aware that oftentimes these guys who participate in the lottery scam, they meet at various locations where they actually burn money to see who can burn the most money. That's a type of lifestyle that they seek to portray.
It's no ordinary party, as the end result is a festival of guns, a carnival of misery. As though no organization or civic group or body is immune from the impact of the lottery scam, and the business community is no exception. What's interesting, however, is that there's a charge that business persons are benefiting from the lottery scam.
What I've discovered is that if I, as an ordinary citizen, am willing to pay $300 for an item, a scammer may be willing to pay $600 for that same item. So a number of the business people target them because they know that at the end of the day they'll be able to make a higher profit margin.
So these business persons, they know the scammers?
Of course they do. I mean, it's not difficult to not to recognize most of the scammers, you know. They dress in a particular way. Their lifestyle, comes across in a particular way.
Here's another scenario. The police are dealing with a crime that's not viewed for what it really is.
There are individuals who believe that the lottery scam is not a crime. It's a way of making money. So I think that speaks to the heart of our value system.
Perhaps it's a value system that places profit over people, indicating if the authorities want to smash the scam underworld, information may not be forthcoming from the business community.
We are a very small and closely knit community. Just about everybody knows everybody. And sometimes a scammer might be your nephew, your brother, your sister, or some distant relative. And so you are going to find, therefore, that people feel that if they were to become an informant, they would be betraying this level of trust and community spirit.
So much money is being made that the lottery scam has spawned another web of criminal enclave.
I know that they're even selling bonds. And, and there's also the credit card, which is part of the whole scamming network. And a lot of hardware stores and hotels have been brought down by that.
Wayne Cummings, the president of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, GHTA, should know. He said hotels have been hit hard by scammers who target credit cards. This is how it works. Visitors leave credit cards at hotels to pay for incidentals or room expenses. Through criminal ingenuity, scammers get a hold of such cards and...
before you know it, their card is being used all over the place. We've had to deal with a number of situations, and it has been very costly. Costly in terms of dollars and cents, costly in terms of public relations. We've lost a number of clients through it.
However, even as hoteliers bemoan losses, ordinary folk are earning. Is it a simple matter of economics, easy earnings for the disadvantaged? This is a section of the Charles Gordon market. There is support for the lottery scam here, not only by ordinary people, but secret support from the police as well.
Lack of employment make the youth them have to do in a scam. You understand? So if me get piece of paper, if we go and do a little scam to more, that do it.
The scam thing now, if not for the man, them, the youth, they may have a work, you know. Then maybe they don't know how to do it, you know. You know, you see me? They don't know how to do it because they say, them have a work, figure. Them have something coming in them pocket, for mommy feel good, girlfriend feel good, and the baby them feel good.
The police them glad when the scam come to Jamaica because them watch the boy, them and them friend in a Cambia who call them and tell them how much the boy them collect and go take it from them.
Is that true? Are some policemen in Montego Bay deeply involved in the lottery scam?
Police personnel do provide protection to some lotto scammers, and some of them are also enforcers for the lotto scammers. And as a superintendent, I am privy to certain information where this is concerned, but it is going to take detailed and proper investigation. But it does happen.
Corruption in low and high places. Even major hotels have been enmeshed in the scam game, and those who refuse to play lose big. GHTA President Wayne Cummings knows of such a scenario. He said a woman who was employed by a hotel was approached by scammers who were resolute.
You must collect data for us and give to us. If you don't do it, your family is going to be harmed, etc., etc., etc. You know, we had to do all that we could to take the information from that team member, but we have not seen her since. I mean, we know that she has gone away because of her own safety.
I tracked down someone who can relate to such a case. We call her Scamisha.
I was encouraged to get involved, as well as persons within my immediate family got involved in it, and persons that I know, close persons within the community that I grew up with as a child, they died as a result of involvement in it.
Scamisha highlights it's futile for the police to go after what's called masterminds behind the lottery scam.
But this scam has no mastermind. Each person is their own boss. You have your phone, you have your credit, you employ persons to either make call for you, you get your leads, which is a sheet with the names on it, and you do your stuff. There are the persons who are paid to collect money, because the person that does the employment does not collect the money in his name. So persons are paid to go and collect the money, and they get a commission.
She elaborated on these leads and how scammers get them.
There are persons abroad that comes down and sell what they call the leads, and it's like a page of the directory with names and numbers of persons, and then they sell them like 50 for $2,000. I don't know what the rate is now. Jamaican.
The scammers then buy phones and put on an international calling plan. Wondering why they are so effective, they read from a script which they would have rehearsed.
Hello, I'm calling from the International Lottery Company or some other company, whatever name they want. But they do it in such a way that when they speak, they pass it on to somebody else who's in high authority, and they take it from there, and then they set the trend to say, well, they have your check ready now, one, you know, the rigmarole, and for you to get your check, you will have to send X amount, and then they give you the name of the person to send the money to. I know of situations with students that have other relatives also involved in it. They end out with them and they make calls. I have situations where I am young men, 14, 13-year-old, they're millionaires and they're their own boss. They have 3-story houses, they have Skyliners, they have Hondas, they have everything.
A tangled web of investments is woven from the wad of cash. Car wash establishments, mini restaurants, transport operations, and salons are created. But where are parents in the scheme of things?
Some parents are actively involved. I know of situations where the parents are the one doing the collecting on behalf of the child. And in some situations, the 13 or 14-year-old, most of the things that they buy, use their money to do, the parents are the one doing the investment. on their behalf.
So flashy teens are living large. Doesn't this arouse suspicion in schools?
In the certain schools where you know outrightly, they will tell you that they are doing this. But guess what? They're affiliated with a gang. So that even the police car, they don't want to see to drive up in the schoolyard. And you're putting yourself at risk, your staff at risk, and the students as well. So some choose to turn a blind eye to it. Some choose to take the phones from them and said, when you leave the compound, return the phone back to you. But that is as far as it goes. People choose to turn a blind eye to certain stuff. And I know of situations where even teachers pick up money for people.
And teachers.
And they get a percentage on nurses and police.
Having secured the cash, it's viciously guarded, and since there is no honor among the thieves, brutality is exacted on those within who betray because of excessive greed.
Persons get beaten up badly, or persons changing names of persons who they send the money should go to, and when persons find out, some persons will let it pass and say, me not deal with that youth there again, because when they bring him in now, I respect him, and they pull back. But there are others that take it to the next level and say, a violation that.
It's no wonder a particular implement is demanded when scam money is earned.
Most persons, for them make a money, first thing they buy is a gun. Right? And if you pull a violation like that, a man go shoot you.
And the shootings have been numerous, as was highlighted by the police. A particular incident stands out in the mind of Scamisha, where someone was paid to collect scam money from a remittance agency. She said a substantial $200,000 was collected, but the collector was given a mere $15,000 and the rest handed over to the boss involved. However, this was not believed by other cronies.
Persons there at the establishment call persons, listen now, call persons that they knew got gang members, and they went to where the young man is, kicked off his door, took him out of his house, cut his throat, bugger him, burnt him because of the money, and all the time he was screaming that the money was not his. They didn't believe, they wanted the $200,000.
So a life was taken over $200,000. It's a measure of the cost of the lottery scam. According to Scamisha, the disease is now beyond its original host.
But the thing is that most persons are of the opinion that the lottery scam is confined to Montego Bay. It expands right out into the 14 parishes of Jamaica.
I'm not certain if there's any parish in Jamaica that is not affected by it. You put the pressure on Montego Bay for the guy, escape the pressure to another parish, and as soon as you go there, they move on to another parish. So it is widespread, it is overwhelming.
So how are the police dealing with this scourge? As a first step, there is a plea for people to come forward with information, but people don't trust the police.
The police, them, they do crime said we here. So we don't know who we trust. We can't trust people, we can't trust the police.
The police's involvement in the lottery scam is a real problem. It was brought to national prominence in April 2009 when a fake cop who was involved in the scam became a member of the St. James Police.
We are not going to be caught up with charges of impersonating and so on. There is bigger fish to catch.
The person's former Commissioner Rear Admiral Harley Lewin wanted caught were actual policemen who recruited the fake cop in a bid to get their slice of the scam pie.
My information is the matter is still before the courts. The case is ongoing.
Superintendent Maurice Robinson of the St. James Police wants persons to use the various mechanisms in the force for disclosing information anonymously, even as he seeks to convince citizens that not all the cops are involved in the illegal activity.
I guess persons, because of fear, they are not as forthcoming as they ought to be, and that is understood. all we ask them to, if they want to give us information, let's try to be as creative as possible. Keep yourself safe, but at the same time, get the information to us.
In addition to the need for information to be disclosed, the resource to gather intelligence is also critical.
Last week, the Commissioner transferred 12 more detectives to the St. James Division, and I understand a number of others will be coming soon. Speaking with my successor, the plan is to have these new detectives to be engaged in the investigation of these lottery scammers.
Do you think you're winning the battle against the lottery scam?
We are way behind.
During our recent investigation in Montego Bay, then Commander for the St. James Division Superintendent Maurice Robinson highlighted that a reason the police are playing catch-up is the financial lure of this particular crime. Call it the economics of the lottery scam.
Yeah, man, he help a lot of people, you know, but I demand them if you know if it's spending money, you know, and go and wisely and just help them brother and sister and their mother and what have you who want help.
Based on such thinking, there's a call for economic empowerment from a leading member of the force.
Because it's an economic benefit. You look on some, and until there are social intervention in some communities where people can feel a sense of hope, the problem is going to be there. Because you can imagine a parent, and a crime is a crime, but we have to face the reality. A parent who has, especially a single parent, 6, 7 children sending to school, and they see it as an opportunity to make some money.
Even as that call is being made, as an immediate step, the police are seeking to stop lottery scammers in their track by making use of a particular statute, the poker legislation. Superintendent Robinson highlighted that under this legislation, if you are caught with a certain sum of money, for example $200,000, the police can seize the cash, then investigate afterwards. They need not prove how you came by the money. As long as you can't properly account for it, you'll be taken before the courts. In 2010, the police intend to make maximum use of this legislative tool.
That is one area that the police in St. James, we are not exploiting. And for this year with this crime plan, I've already spoken to my successor about it, and that is where we are going to target a lot of scammers next. We are going to do our endeavor best to take the profit out of crime. A lot of these scammers, they are homeowners, they own motor vehicles, they have other assets that they're putting in names of other persons. But with the proper investigations, this can be eliminated.
More reliance will also be placed on collaboration with American law enforcement officers through the joint operation linked to telemarketing JOLT operation. JOLT has been deemed to be effective so far.
They investigate, and they investigate deeply. And they do not just come willy-nilly and then take up someone, and then because of lack of evidence, that person is back on the streets. What I have found with the JOLT operatives, they come, and when they come and they picked up suspects, properties, another thing, and other assets, and the persons are taken back to Kingston where they are charged. If they need to be charged, only they are charged here, and the cases go to trial.
The same degree of considerable effort it takes to create the breathtaking architectures of luxury is exercised in the design of the deceptive scheme employed by lottery scammers in Montego Bay. Scamisha highlights an example of how scammers, after gaining the trust of the unsuspecting, get them to send incremental amounts of US dollars.
How soon can you send $500 for shipping, sort of angling? How much of this can you send?
And it's all US.
Yes, how much can you send? And they say whatever. Well, we'll be able to hold the check for you, might be for the next 2 weeks, but if you can only send $200, you have to ensure that we get the other $300 by when or whatever.
The police disclosed the source of the collection for the money. Agencies are the collection agencies for the money from the lottery scam.
Definitely.
So remittance agencies are a part of the lottery scam loop.
Indeed, we are concerned.
This is Noel Greenland, Vice President of Marketing and Product Development at Grace Kennedy Money Services. The company manages the Western Union remittance franchise. According to Mr. Greenland, his remittance agency has records of persons overseas who have been scammed into sending money to persons in Jamaica.
There's nothing we can do in a case like that. There's nothing at all we can do in a case like that. The onus, as I've said before, is on every single one of us listening at this time. And those who are not listening, those who are listening should call their relatives and friends and let them know that if they receive a call, if they receive any instruction from anyone to send money for whatever reason, unless that person is known to you, do not do it.
Interestingly, however, when persons do get trapped, they don't come forward.
Based on the standard worldwide trend, normally it's about 8% of victims report their case.
That has implications for efforts to convict. This is George Thomas, a Montego Bay-based attorney. He defended a client who was alleged to have been involved in the lottery scam. It was dubbed the $1 million baby case, as an 18-year-old woman was caught with $1 million, which authorities claimed could not be properly accounted for. Mr. Thomas said he won the case based on a technical foul-up of a police officer. That aside, the lawyer notes the impact of the lack of witnesses.
They are embarrassed, they don't want to come forward, and eventually, after maybe a couple months or a year, they will have to release that person or offer no further evidence.
Meanwhile, GHTA President Wayne Cummings reveals hoteliers have spent millions to implement sophisticated computer systems to mask credit card numbers of guests from various hotel employees. This was necessary because, as a spin-off, lottery scammers target the credit card numbers of visitors.
Notwithstanding who you are, unless you are one or two persons who have that kind of level of clearance, you don't need to see somebody's credit card information. It is behind all sorts of security screens. That presents challenges because it also reduces your ability to sell services and goods.
Now that's a serious concern. A bigger concern, though, is whether many Jamaicans have bartered lottery scam winnings for the lives of many of their own. Law-abiding citizens are hoping for a significant boost in the capabilities of the security forces to help stop the scammers, and there's a strong warning for parents to be extra careful that their children don't fall into the lottery scam trap. Andrew Cannon, CVM News.